Can you identify this bird? Of course you can. It's an adult bald eagle. The bright white head and white tail give it away. In addition, it is such an enormous bird, very few birds have a comparable size, and its wings are held out straight as opposed to a vulture's, which are more frequently held in a V formation. Also, unlike an osprey, there are no bends in the wrist area where the wingtips are then angled backwards. This is clearly a bald eagle. What raptor might this be? Well, this is a harder one, but this is also a bald eagle. It is simply an immature bald eagle. It will not develop a full white head and tail until around its 5th year. And so you would use some of those other clues, such as its huge size, its very long wings, the fact that the wings are often held out straight and do not have a bend at the wrists. But also you might notice some white patches here and there. These are signs of an immature bald eagle. Just a quick note on the adults. In addition to the white head, notice that the iris of the eye is a bright yellow in color, and the beak is a bright yellow in color. These are also features of adults, but not the immatures. When bald eagles develop as juveniles, these are the immatures until they go through their first change in plumage, they are a dark brown, close to black, a dark chocolate. Also, their irises are brown and their beaks are a dark brown instead of the bright yellow of the adults. When they leave the nest, they are actually at their adult size. Their skeleton is the size of the adult, although their feathers are actually a little bit longer on their wings and on their tail. So actually in overall size, they're actually a little larger than an adult, and their body proportions are just a little bit different as a result. As immatures then change their plumage, they are no longer referred to as juveniles after the first plumage change, but rather subadults. And as such, they are starting to lighten. One might notice a beige coloration of some of the head feathers rather than a dark brown, and the iris and the bill are beginning to lighten as well, although they are not the bright yellow that they will be in the adult stage. After their next plumage change by the time they reach 2.5 years of age, notice that one can see a considerable amount of white, but that it is not limited to the head and tail as it will be in the adult. Notice that it is distributed all throughout the body. And so one might see patches of white on their back, on their chest, on their wings, and on their head. This is variable from individual to individual, which is why in trying to guess the age of an immature bald eagle, which is called a subadult by this point, one would also consider the color of the iris and the beak, which are continuing to lighten. By the time a subadult reaches 3.5 years, the iris and bill are yellow, although perhaps not quite as bright as they will be as an adult. And notice the white head has flecks of brown in it. And so while it is approaching its adult coloration, one can still see that it is a subadult at around 3.5 years. Eagles which are 4.5 years of age are almost to the adult plumage which one would see after 5 years. Notice there is still a little bit of brown coloration around the eye and also at the base of the neck. Immature birds might act a little differently than mature birds as well. So for example, the ability to skillfully catch living fish develops over time. One might see immature birds more often feeding on carrion or on dead fish.